Welcome back to my animal education series. Do you mind introducing yourself? Tell us what organization you work with and how long you've been working there.
Hello, I'm Rafael and I'm a biologist. I'm from Lisbon, Portugal, and currently I work as an environmental educator at the Lisbon Zoo, where I have been for the last 4 years.
Today we are talking about the Iberian Lynx. So, where can this animal be found?
Their historical range is restricted to the Iberian Peninsula, primarily the southwestern region of Spain and much of Portugal. Although they were once widespread throughout the region, their geographical range has contracted at an alarming rate over the last century and a half, and currently can only be found in the south of the Iberian Peninsula.
The Canada lynx typically frequents more heavily forested areas. What kind of environment does the Iberian lynx prefer?
Iberian lynx require variable terrain containing a mosaic of closed Mediterranean scrubland and open patches of grassland. This natural mosaic landscape creates the optimal balance of shrub cover and open space. Lynx use areas of scrubland as shelter as well for bedding and breeding. Areas with minimal cover provide habitat for their primary prey, the European rabbit.
Does the Iberian lynx have any special adaptations to help it survive in its natural environment?
They have relatively small heads, long legs, and very short, black-tipped tails, which is a common characteristic of lynx species. They also have short, flat faces and black tufts on the ears and jowls that give them a birded appearance, which is especially evident in adults. They have tawny pelage, which is mottled with dark spots, so that they can camouflage in their habitat. Also, as small prey specialists, Iberian lynx have a foreshortened skull that maximizes the bite force of the canines. In addition, they have more narrow muzzles, longer jaws, and smaller canines than felines that specialize on larger prey. These adaptations provide an advantage when catching small, fast prey and allow Iberian lynx to deliver a single kill bite that punctures the back of the neck, thus severing the spinal cord, as opposed to suffocating bites common in larger cats.
What is the typical lifespan of an Iberian lynx in the wild?
According to studies, the oldest wild Iberian lynx was 13 years old at the time of death. In Lisbon Zoo lives an Iberian lynx couple where the male is 10 years old and the female is impressively 16 years old.
In doing some research, I found out a disease in the 1980s heavily affected the lynx population. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Their primary prey is European rabbit, which makes up between 80 and 100% of their daily biomass consumption. A single adult lynx requires between 600 and 1000 kilocalories per day, which is approximately the amount of energy contained within a single rabbit. An adult female with young requires up to 3 rabbits per day. Iberian lynx are considered specialist predators, and prey preference exhibits little geographic or seasonal variation. When European rabbits are scarce, alternative prey items consist of small vertebrates including rodents and European hare. They also consume birds and are known to occasionally prey on juvenile ungulates such as red deer, fallow deer, and mouflon. The greatest force behind the decline of the European rabbit has been 2 diseases that appeared in the 20th century. One of these diseases was myxomatosis, which is a South American virus, primarily spread by insect vectors, that was intentionally introduced by a farmer in the mid-50s in France to control the rabbit population. An estimated 90% of European rabbits perished due to myxomatosis after the first outbreaks in the 50s. The second disease was rabbit hemorrhagic disease, which is caused by a Lagovirus that appeared in Europe in the late 80s, initially causing the death of 55 to 75% of rabbits in the Iberian Peninsula. This disease is primarily spread by direct contact. Unfortunately, Iberian lynx have disappeared from many areas containing suitable habitat, presumably due to low rabbit densities, since they are a specialist predator, and without their primary prey, their population's numbers are going to decrease.
Do these lynx have any natural predators in the wild?
As an apex carnivore in their ecosystems, Iberian lynx have no natural predators.
What is the IUCN status of these lynx?
After 6 decades of decline and pronounced range contraction, the population size of the Iberian lynx has continuously increased. As a result of the increasing population size, the Iberian lynx no longer qualifies for critically endangered status, and this is therefore listed as only endangered. This improved status of the species is all due to intensive ongoing conservation actions.
What other major contributors have led to population decline in the lynx besides the disease with the rabbits?
During the 20th century, hunting and trapping were major sources of mortality associated with predator control and exploitation of wild rabbits. Road casualties typically produce several losses each year, as the length of paved or widened roads, as well as average traffic loads, have significantly increased in and around lynx areas. Homogenization of mosaic culture landscapes due to agricultural and silvicultural intensification during the 20th century conceivably contributed to lynx decline as well.
I found it difficult to find information on individual animal ranges. With the smaller populations, does this make it difficult for mating pairs to interact?
Prey density and habitat quality significantly influence Iberian lynx home range size, which range usually from 4 to 20 square kilometers. They travel about 7 kilometers per day within their home range, primarily searching for prey. Habitat fragmentation throughout the Iberian Peninsula has led to the isolation of lynx populations, thus impeding their ability to disperse and for breeding pairs to meet. The inability to disperse can lead to an increased risk of inbreeding and reduced genetic diversity.
Have Portugal, Spain, and Sierra Moreno put any laws in place to protect lynx populations?
Besides the fact that Iberian lynx is fully protected in Spain and Portugal, they are also listed in CITES Appendix 1 and on Appendix 2 of the Berne Convention, and Annexes 2 and 4 of the EU Habitats and Species Directive. But there are also legal instruments in force in which the main commitments established under the agreement are: first, to protect the lynx and its habitat, to monitor the land in order to be free of illegal traps, also to encourage better surveillance of the property, to facilitate the control and monitoring of the lynx, to provide land for the improvement and management of the habitat, to make land use compatible with the requirements of the lynx, and to create an environment of trust favorable to this species, but as well for a long-term respect for actions carried out on properties within the scope of the Life Nature projects.
Could you tell me more about the programs in place to reintroduce captive bred animals back out into the wild?
There are currently 5 breeding centers in the Iberian Peninsula that were essential for the recovery of the Iberian lynx, considered the most dangerous cat in the world, from less than 100 individuals to more than 800 currently registered. In Portugal, where they came to be extinct, there are currently 109 individuals in the wild.
What is the Lisbon Zoo doing to help the native lynx population?
As I said before, an Iberian lynx couple lives in our zoo, in Lisbon Zoo. They are called Gamma and Azahar, and they arrived at the zoo in 2014. Both came from our National Center for Reproduction of the Iberian Lynx in Silves, in Algarve, and they both have in common the fact that they are not fit for reproduction and that they cannot be reintroduced into the wild for medical reasons. It was for this reason that the center was willing to move them, so even if they were unable to breed, they could begin a no less important mission, that of ambassadors of the species. And the truth is that for many of our visitors, these two exemplary ambassadors will be the first contact with this species, and in this way we can raise awareness among the Portuguese population and also tourists that visit us about the cause of the Iberian lynx offering visitors a chance to meet and to create emotional bonds with these species.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about these amazing cats?
As you say, they truly are amazing cats. Indeed, they are the only wild cat with its range restricted only to Europe and specifically in the Iberian Peninsula. And I assure you that being able to see an Iberian lynx in person, it's truly an amazing experience and one you won't forget.
What led you to a career working with these animals?
Well, since I was very young, I have always had a great interest in nature, and it is curious because my parents tell me that when I was younger, I used to tell them that when I was older, I wanted to work as a tiger zookeeper at the Lisbon Zoo so that I can help protect tigers. Obviously, I'm not a tiger keeper, but I would not trade my profession for anything. Being an educator gives me the opportunity to make other children and even adults to connect emotionally with the natural world, and thus protect not only tigers but all the fantastic biodiversity of our planet.
Thank you so much for helping me with this virtual interview. Again, I really like doing these virtual interviews because I get to talk with people all around the world and learn about different kinds of animals. Thank you guys as well for watching this week's video. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'll see you next week.